With Supergirl coming out next week, how do we feel about the DCU? What is up, everybody? My name is Kevin, and today we're going to be talking about the DCU, how I feel about it, how I feel about James Gunn, and all these new projects that are coming out. If you guys are into movie and TV show content, please subscribe and like this video. Ring the bell if you want to get notified whenever I post a new video. And I'm trying to get over 100 subscribers in the next coming weeks, so if you want to help me out, please subscribe. So, where am I at when it comes to the DCU? I thought Superman was a pretty good entry into this universe. I was not a big fan of the Snyderverse. I did not get into Henry Cavill's Superman. I did not get into Batman vs. Superman. I think that is a really terrible just superhero movie because I feel like it rushed the entire universe based off of what Marvel was doing, which that made it entirely flawed to me. But the whole Justice League movie sucked. I think Zack Snyder's Justice League was a step in the right direction, but ultimately that's not what I really wanted to see from these characters. And so I was excited when it was announced that James Gunn was going to take over the DCU and really try and lead it into the right direction because I like everything he's pretty much made. Guardians of the Galaxy, the whole trilogy, is one of my favorite trilogies in just superhero movies in general. So I was really excited to see the direction he took with the DCU, and Superman was a really good start to the franchise. I am not a huge fan of Superman in general as a character. I really haven't been since I was a kid. I was more of a Batman guy, but I really did like the direction we took with David Cornsweet's Superman. I think David Cornsweet was a really good Superman. I can understand the criticisms that he's a little bit babyish. He's a little he can get a little overstimulating. He's very like quirky, but I think that's necessary to an extent with Superman, where he's not from this planet. Of course, he doesn't understand just societal and normal people cues when talking to another person. And on top of that, I really love the hopefulness that I got from that movie. Just seeing all of, like the inspiring moments. That's what Superman is supposed to be, in my opinion. He's not supposed to be some depressing, just so like doesn't care at all about what he's doing to like the city around him. I really like Superman in this movie and his portrayal, but honestly, my concern about the DCU outside of this Superman is it feels a little bit unplanned, a little disjointed. At least for Marvel, even though there wasn't an entire plan for all these phases, they started hitting movies after another. So they hit Iron Man, hit Captain America, hit all these really good movies in a row, and that really jump started their universe. But the DC, it looks like they're trying to bank on the same exact thing, which I don't think that's a smart idea. I think it's very hard to craft these universes, and if you aren't really focused on getting the heavy hitter characters out of the way, and if you're not going to do the heavy hitters, then you have to make sure those movies that you're releasing are just like top notch. So I think it's really hard to keep up and like sustain that level of success in multiple movies with maybe lesser known characters instead of making like a Batman and a Wonder Woman movie when people are expecting these movies. People want these movies. I want a Batman movie. I'm fine with keeping the Robert Pattinson movies because I love those movies, but I want to see the Batman in this universe because I don't want to have to go through all these movies, 5 movies down the line, and then we get introduced to Batman, and that Batman is horrible. That would be absolutely catastrophic to this universe if 5 movies down the line, people start to get invested into these movies and Batman sucks. That Batman movie sucks. So I'd rather, in my opinion, just for like my anticipation's sake, I'd rather get Batman sooner or later so I know whether or not to invest in this new DC universe. But let me just give you some context. Peacemaker, I was a huge fan of season 1, and I kind of found season 2 underwhelming. And I think we're starting to see just an oversaturation of James Gunn, and James Gunn really being involved in a lot of these projects. He's getting his hands dirty in a lot of them. And a lot of these projects are starting to feel like the same exact thing. You can see like this whole problem is happening with Marvel right now. I'm a huge Marvel fan, but most of their movies, it just feels like a cookie cutter, same exact thing as one another. There really isn't any artistic difference like there were in the earlier movies between Iron Man, Captain America. They all look different, they all felt different. But in the DCU, at least, all these movies have felt the same. Movies, TV shows, all interconnected. It all has felt the same, at least in the start of this universe. I'm not as hard compared to other people about how we aren't getting that many projects, at least in the first couple years. I'm fine with just letting stuff develop. I am on the side though. I would like some of the heavy hitters to start getting projects, but just looking ahead, Supergirl is coming out next week. And to be honest, I haven't heard any hype or a lot of people saying that they're going to go see this movie. I'm personally interested to see what happens. I don't know much about Supergirl, but I'm all on board. The trailers look solid, but this just seems like another case of I'm a James Gunn and I'm going to put my hands all over a project. It really looks Guardians of the Galaxy-esque, which that is my concern. I really want new and artistic directions. I think Clayface is new and interesting, but at the same time, Clayface is Clayface. He isn't a top tier hero that we have to get right in order for this universe to work. It's some villain that, regardless if the movie is a success or a bomb, I don't think it's really going to dictate if this universe is actually going to go on for 10 years or more. We really need to start getting Batman, the Lanterns, Wonder Woman, even like Cyborg or the Teen Titans. We really need to start getting some of these really heavy hitter characters and start like developing them and getting them right, because we're going to reach a point where we're just not going to have any. We're going to have maybe on and off random projects that make sense, right? And I don't even know what projects are expected to come out anymore because they released the whole roadmap, and we're not going to get half of those projects anymore, supposedly. I mean, there was multiple TV shows announced that we don't know if we're actually getting. So this is my other issue. We saw the issue with Disney Plus where there was oversaturation on the TV show side. And I understand that some of these, like Marvel and DC, if they're making a TV show, they're not going to expect you to watch it. However, I want to see the Lanterns in a movie. I'm all for doing a TV show too, but when we see the budget of the TV show and it looks dark and gloomy and you barely see any green during the entire show, I would rather just see a movie at that point. We haven't had a good Green Lantern movie ever. And Green Lantern is one of the coolest characters. It shouldn't be as hard as it is to get Green Lantern as a character right. And even the Ryan Reynolds movie, people shit on it so much. I don't think it was that terrible. It could have been a lot worse. What my hope is, as now a casual DC fan, I used to be a much bigger DC fan, but Marvel has really taken it over. They have been way more consistent in the last 20 years than DC has, even though DC has some of the better highs in those last 20 years than Marvel does, in just like movie quality in general. I really hope that DC gets it together here. I want something for me to really get into and latch onto. And I think Superman was a good step in the right direction. I just need better quality in the TV show content, which, if you're going to flood TV show content, then just tell good stories about characters and don't settle for the TV show route for certain characters that need to be in the movie format, in my opinion. I'm also really excited for Man of Tomorrow, and there's a lot of good rumors coming out that really interest me, but we really need to bank on Supergirl being a success, or else we might run into some issues. And where is Batman? We need just hints of what's going to happen with Batman. But what do you guys think? How are you guys feeling about the DCU and James Gunn in general, and how he's pretty much in charge of everything? And if you haven't already, please like and subscribe if you made it this far in the video, and I'll see you next time.